Now we talk about section D اللي عنوانها auxiliaries الأفعال المساعدة. auxiliaries. What are auxiliaries? ما هي الأفعال المساعدة? Auxiliaries are closely related with the verb and are of three categories. So the auxiliaries are those verbs which are used with the main verbs. For example, he is playing, he is reading, she is reading. All these are auxiliaries. Now we come to the types of auxiliaries. أنواع الأفعال المساعدة. First, modal verbs, modal auxiliaries. الأفعال الناقصة such as may, shall, will, could, etc. Here, modal auxiliaries, هذه الأفعال الناقصة, have two features or two characteristics. لها صفتين. Number one, the present tense form does not take an S in the third person singular. صيغة المضارع ما يأخذ S مع الشخص الثالث because it is not a main verb. For example, and this is number one. Second feature is that they do not have participle forms. They have only two forms, present or past. لها صيغتين الأفعال الناقصة اللي هي المضارع والماضي, like will, would, can, could, may, might, but there is no past participle. Now the second type of auxiliaries, النوع الثاني من الأفعال المساعدة, we call them, نسميها primary auxiliaries, which are verbs to have and verbs to be. So primary auxiliaries are of two types. الأفعال المساعدة الأساسية اللي هي أفعال have, verbs to have, has, had, and verbs to be أفعال الكينونة am, is, are, was, and were. Third types of auxiliaries are periphrastic auxiliary do, يعني verb to do. It is called in English grammar periphrastic auxiliary, or sometimes it is called do. What is do? What is the auxiliary do? Do is a dummy or empty form. الفعل do هو عبارة عن شكل نحوي dummy أي لا معنى له, empty or dummy بمعنى meaningless, does not have any meaning, and it has the following uses. So what are the uses? ما هي استخدامات الفعل المساعد do? First of all, أولا, any questions في حالة الأسئلة, it carries the tense, يشير إلى زمن السؤال, and provides the inversion, ويعمل لنا قلب الجملة من جملة خبرية from a statement into a question إلى سؤال that signals a question. So for example here, did John study? Did is an auxiliary which shows that the sentence is in the simple past because did is used in the simple past. This is the first function, the first use of. The second function is that in negative sentences, الجمل المنفية, it carries the tense, يحمل لنا أيضا زمن الجملة, what is used between, note أداة النفي, note تستخدم between an auxiliary and the verb, دائما تضاف أداة النفي بين الفعل المساعد وبين الفعل الرئيسي, as in these examples. John didn't study. Here we have note between did and study. And the third function of verb to do, الوظيفة الثالثة لفعل do, is that in declarative affirmative sentences في الجمل الخبرية المثبتة, it provides emphasis, يقدم لنا أو يؤكد التوكيد, يدل على توكيد الجملة, and requires, ويتطلب primary or secondary stress, دائما يكون بنبر أولي أو ثانوي. Example, John did study. John did study. In this example, did is used for emphasis لغرض التوكيد. Number 4 in target questions الوظيفة الرابعة للفعل المساعد do يستخدم كذلك في الأسئلة الليلية in tag questions. It replaces a main verb in the simple present or in the past tense. Examples: she works hard, doesn't she? Here does is used instead of works. بمعنى it replaces a main verb here which is works. But in the past, she, as in this example, she sold the car, didn't she? Here the auxiliary did is used instead of sold. So in target questions, in tele questions في الأسئلة الذيلية الفعل do يشير إلى زمن الجملة ويعتبر بديل عن الفعل الرئيسي. إذا كان الفعل مضارع بأس فdoes يعوض عنه، وإذا كان ماضي بسيط الفعل did يعوض عنه. Last function آخر وظيفة آخر استخدام the last use of verb to do اللي هو in sentences beginning في الجمل التي تبدأ with a negative adverbial like seldom. Some sentences in English begin with an adverb like seldom, never, or sometimes it begins with a negative particle or negative adverbials like not only. In this case, it expresses an inverted structure. It expresses in an inverted structure the tense فهو يعبر هنا يشير لنا إلى الزمن as in this example. Never did I dream of such a thing. Or not only does he dream, he has nightmares. So here did, you see that here it helps us يساعدنا to do the inversion نقلب الجملة. يعني we put the auxiliary الفعل المساعد before the main verb. Now this video will talk about the differences between auxiliaries and main verbs. الاختلافات بين الأفعال المساعدة والأفعال الرئيسية. Are there some differences between auxiliaries and main verbs or not? Yes, the first difference الاختلاف الأول, a sentence with a main verb can begin a conversation and is satisfactorily understood by the listener. الجملة اللي تبدأ بالفعل الرئيسي في المحادثة the conversation تعتبر جملة مفهومة للمستمع. Example: I worked like a dog, but not I could yesterday. يعني if I say I could yesterday, if there is no main verb, إذا ما عندي فعل رئيسي في هذه الجملة I could yesterday, it is ambiguous, جملة غامضة هنا. ولذلك الجملة اللي تحتوي على فعل رئيسي تكون جملة meaningful ذات معنى here. يعني here if we have an auxiliary, إذا عندي فعل مساعد which is here modal verb, there should be يجب أن يكون وراء should be followed by a main verb. فعل رئيسي يتبعها فعل رئيسي. If there is no main verb, إذا ما أكو فعل رئيسي يتبع الفعل المساعد راح تكون الجملة غامضة. الاختلاف الثاني between the auxiliaries and the main verbs is that هو the sentence is negated by putting the negative. The sentence is negated by, you see that الجملة تكون منفية تنفى عن طريق وضع the negative particle not أداة النفي not after the main verb. The sentence is negated by putting the negative particle not after the main verb ليس بعد الفعل الرئيسي but after the auxiliary. يعني عادة how to differentiate between the auxiliary and the main verb. كيف أميز بين الفعل المساعد والفعل الرئيسي؟ الفعل المساعد ممكن أن ينفى بنوت أداة النفي نوت. إذا أريد أن في الجملة when I want to change the sentence into negative إلى نفي I put not after the auxiliary. يعني any verb which takes not it means it is an auxiliary but it is not a main verb. So in other words بتعبير آخر main verbs usually الأفعال الرئيسية عادة لا تأخذ أداة النفي وإنما الأفعال المساعدة. Now the third point of difference نقطة الاختلاف الثالثة والأخيرة بين الأفعال المساعدة والأفعال الرئيسية. To make a question with an auxiliary the subject and auxiliary are inverted but not the subject and the main verb. يعني في حالة الجملة الاستفهامية إذا عندي جملة استفهامية باليس no question عادة usually the auxiliary فعل مساعد comes before the subject يأتي قبل الفاعل. لكن if I do not have an auxiliary, if I have a main verb, so the main verb cannot come before the subject. It means that I cannot make a yes no question with a main verb, but usually we make a yes no question with an auxiliary. So here for example she can do a good job. She can do a good job. This is a statement اللي جملة خبرية. If I want to change it into a question I just invert. I put can before she. Can she. But with a main verb لكن مع الفعل الرئيسي we formulate a question. عادة نعمل صياغة السؤال حسب النموذج التالي اللي هو أنشرها لكم الآن بالقلم اللي هو do. alright بالقلم اللي هو sorry this is do فعل do بعدين يجي subject بعدين الفعل الرئيسي and so on. So إذن there are in general بشكل عام ثلاث اختلافات between auxiliaries and main verbs. أولا a sentence with a main verb can begin a conversation but an auxiliary cannot be used with a main verb. Number two, the auxiliary can be negated. We can put not after an auxiliary but we cannot put not after a main verb. And the third difference is that in yes no questions, in order to make a question we can only move an auxiliary before the subject, but the main verb cannot be put before the main verb in yes no questions. This is the last point. Now we are going to talk about interrogative pronouns. نتكلم الآن عن الضمائر الاستفهامية as I pointed in the pen كما أشرت بالقلم. So interrogative pronouns like who, whom, whose. First of all we talk about the functions الوظائف. نتكلم عن وظائف الضمائر الاستفهامية. نتكلم عن وظائف الضمائر الاستفهامية. First of all, who is used as a subject of the verb. As the object of the verb يستخدم كفاعل للفعل subject of the verb و sometimes object of the verb وبعض الأحيان مفعول به or object of preposition. object of preposition. In cultivated speech يعني informal speech في الكلام المهذب في الكلام الرسمي ضمير الاستفهامي هو يستخدم as a subject of the verb، يستخدم كفاعل الفعل object of the verb، و object of the preposition مفعول به لحرف الجر. Examples, we take some examples to clarify these points. Who borrowed my tie? من الذي استعار رباطي؟ Here who is used as the subject of the verb. But in the second example في المثال الثاني here, who did you take to the party? I answer the question, for example, I took Ahmed to the party, I took Ali to the party, I took Suha to the party, I took Suha to the party. Here in this case, who functions as the object of the verb. But in the third example, this one, who are you referring to? So if I answer the question, إلى أي شيء تشير? Who you are referring to? For example, I say I am referring to Ahmed. So here, who functions as the object of preposition. You see that? It means that who, the interrogative pronoun who ضمير الاستفهام هو يستخدم as either the subject of the verb كما هو الفاعل للفعل as in the first example، or يكون object of the verb as in this one، or it could be the object of the preposition. There is a note here, the object form whom, sometimes صيغة المفعول به whom is used directly after prepositions. في بعض الأحيان نستخدم صيغة المفعول به للضمير بعد حرف الجر as in this example. يعني into whom we can use this form, to whom. Next item we talk about relative pronouns. ضمائر الوصل. These are relative pronouns. Some of them are who, whom, and whose. Now we come to the functions. نأتي الآن إلى وظائف هذه ضمائر التملك. Who is used as the subject of the verb، يستخدم كفاعل الفعل وكذلك الحال، and whom as the object of the verb، أما whom مفعول به للفعل، and كذلك الحال object of the preposition. So the relative pronoun ضمير الوصل who, this first one, is used as the subject of the verb, but whom ولكن ضمير الوصل whom is used either the object of the verb مفعول به للفعل or object of the preposition، أو يكون مفعول به إلى حرف الجر. And these are some examples. هنا بعض الأمثلة. The girl who won the prize was Suha. Here who functions as the subject of the verb. The girl whom I admired most was Jack's sister. Here whom is the object of the verb. But when I say the girl whom I voted for won by a close margin, here, as you say, this is object of preposition. And the last example, the teacher whose book I borrowed had an extra copy. Here, whose is used as possessive relative. ضمير شخصي تملك. Now we talk about other two relative pronouns. نتكلم عن ضميرين من ضمائر الوصل اللي هي which and that. You know, in general بشكل عام in most cases which is used with inanimate noun. تستخدم مع الاسم الجمال الغير عاقل, subject and the object, للفاعل والمفعول به. لكن that sometimes could be used with both تستخدم that with animate العاقل أو غير العاقل. Animate عاقل and inanimate غير العاقل. Let's see these differences. خلينا نشوف هذه الاختلافات in the use في استخدام which and that. أولا which is used with non-human. which تستخدم مع غير العاقل inanimate غير الجماد, while that بينما that is used with both human and non-human. So the first difference أول اختلاف between which and that, which is used تستخدم only with the inanimate, with the non-human مع الجماد غير. This is the cat which ate the meat. This is the dog which ate the meat. Inanimate subject. الفاعل هنا the noun here is inanimate غير عاقل, لكن that is used for both تستخدم for both for animate and inanimate. And here we have some examples to show these differences. So when we say the tree which fell was a large oak, the tree which fell الشجرة التي سقطت. Here which is used with the tree صدمنا مع الشجرة لغير عاقل. What is the function of which? ما هو الإعراب الوظيفة الإعرابية إلى which? You see that here it functions يعمل لنا هنا as the object of the verb. المفعول به يعمل لنا المفعول به إلى, yes, this is the object, you got the idea, and so on. So the tree which fell was a large oak. The tree which fell الشجرة التي سقطت here هنا because which comes before the verb. The verb fell, it functions as the subject of the verb. But in the second example, the tree which I prefer was an oak. The tree which I prefer was an oak. Here it functions as object of the verb, because if I answer or if I put it in another way, إذا أخليها بصيغة أخرى, I say for example, I prefer an oak tree. I prefer an oak tree. In the third example, the tree which we sat under was an oak. And this one here, it functions as the object of the preposition. The tree which we sat under, here it functions as the preposition, as the object of the preposition under. Or sometimes you can put it in another way when it is used as the object of the preposition. ممكن نستخدم الصيغة الأخرى إذا استخدمنا كمفعول به لحرف الجر, as in this example, the tree under which we sat was an oak. فهير in both cases بالحالتين which functions as the preposition, as the object of the preposition under. We take other examples. ناخذ أمثلة أخرى. The flavor about طبعا these examples about that ناخذها عن that to show the differences حتى نشوف الاختلافات between which and that. So here the flavor that pleases me most is chocolate. The flavor that pleases me most is chocolate. Here that functions as the subject of the verb pleases because it comes before it. In the second example, the tree which we sat under was an oak. The tree which we sat under. So here I'm referring to the old example. Here I'm talking about the teacher. Second example, the teacher that I like best is Mrs. Suha. The teacher that I like best. Here that functions as the object of the verb like. And finally, أخيرا, it functions as the object of the preposition, as in this example. When I say the author that I am writing about is Camus, the author that I am writing about is Camus. Here, that in the third example functions as the object or preposition. So once again, which always used with inanimate غير العاقل, non-human, and it is used either as the subject of the verb فاعل الفعل, object of the verb مفعول به للفعل, or object or preposition مفعول به لحرف الجر, that is used either with human and non-human, عاقل ولا غير العاقل, functions either subject of the verb, object of the verb, and object of the preposition. Here we have the last note about how to differentiate between that and which. That and which. You see that? The author about that I am writing is campus and grammatical, because a preposition can only precede which, but not that. You see that? So what I mean here, we can say the author about that I am writing is campus, this is ungrammatical. But I can say, for example, here, a preposition can only, the author about that I am writing is Camus. I have to say, the author that I am writing about. So, بمعنى, it means that the author that I am writing about, we cannot use that after a preposition, but we can use which before a preposition, as in this example. I mean, we can use here, for example, the tree under which we sat, which can immediately comes after the preposition in, under, but I cannot say the author about that. So I can use which after a preposition, immediately after a preposition, but I cannot use that after a preposition. Important exercise التمارين المهمة اللي 13.1. I will point them in 13.1. These are important exercises. You can طبعا all the solutions الحلول, all the answers, usually you can check them, you can find them at the end of the book. These exercises are 13.1 و 13.1, 13.2, 13.6, 13.7 و 13.9. Also, a student should also consider all ungrammatical sentences in the chapter indicated by. There are some ungrammatical sentences. اكو بعض الجمل هنا غير النحوية اللي مؤشرة بالنجمة. You have to study them, تروح تقراهم, و you have to know, تعرف شغلتين عنهم. Number one, why they are ungrammatical, لماذا هي غير صحيحة نحويا, and how to correct them. Now I am going to make a summary for the whole chapter. I am going to make a summary for the whole chapter. So the chapter is entitled Structure Classes, اللي الأصناف التركيبية البنيوية. مثل ما قلنا, parts of speech are classified into 4 classes, اللي هي الأشكال أو الأصناف الشكلية تصنف من حيث الشكل, which include اللي تشمل nouns, verbs, adjectives, and adverbs. And the second type of part speech are structure classes, اللي هي الأصناف البنيوية, which include اللي تضمن qualifiers, المحددات, ظروف التحديد, prepositions, حروف الجر, و also we have determiners أيضا المحددات، وعندنا auxiliaries الأفعال المساعدة. And finally we have the pronouns, auxiliaries, and finally we have pronouns. الضمائر of all their types بكل أنواعها: personal pronouns, interrogative pronouns, and relative pronouns. I might send this or these videos on Telegram. Please try to join the Telegram. And I want just to clarify the point is that I have already divided the chapter into so many different videos because of the internet problem, because I cannot do it in one video because it takes a long time and this cannot be loaded in the internet. Thank you very much for your listening. I wish the safety for everybody and good luck for you.